Hello YouTube, this is, I don't know, whoever I am right now. I have many different names, but I'm here with Brandon. Say hello.
Hi.
And he is going to give us a deck profile of his EvolSaur deck. It is like the best EvolSaur deck I've ever seen, like by far. So, go ahead and start.
Alright. For the EvolSaurs, what you're going to want to have is 2 Ceratos. These cards, overall, pretty good card. 1900 attack, so if you have to normal summon it, it's still kind of good. But if it's special summoned by an EvolTile, it gets a bonus 200 attack, and you get an EvolTile added from your deck to your hand if it destroys a monster by battle. Next, what we're going to have is double Terius. Now what Terius does is, he doesn't really do anything. He's 2400 attack, so if you can use a card like Evo Instant that doesn't treat the card as being summoned by an EvolTile, it's pretty good. But it loses 500 attack if it's summoned by an EvolTile, so there are its downsides. Then, we're going to run 2 Elias. Basically, 2400 defense, it's a good defensive card to get out. And if it's special summoned by an EvolTile, you get another level 6 or lower fire dinosaur type from your hand. So it's good for getting another 6 out to overlay into your Soldo or another rank 6 that you want to use. Next, we're going to run 1 Diplo. It's pretty good, 1600 attack, so it's not too bad. When it is special summoned by an EvolTile, you can target a spell or trap on the field and destroy it, so it's obviously good for getting rid of the back row. Next, 1 Volcano. When he's special summoned, he gets an EvolTile, or an, wait no, it's just an EvolSaur from your graveyard, so also very good for overlaying for your rank 4s. Then you're going to run 2 Peltas. 2000 defense, not very strong on offense. When it's summoned by an EvolTile, it gets 500 defense, so it's pretty good for, the defense of keeping your line intact. And if it's destroyed, you get an EvolTile from your deck to your hand. It's kind of like an inverted Cerato. Next, what you're going to run is 2 Darwinos. They're not the best EvolSaur. They're 2200 attack, so it's not bad on that front. But their effect is when summoned by an EvolTile, you can target 1 card on the field and increase its level by 2. This could be used for something like the EvolTile Westlow, which is next. There's a level 3, so you can level that up to 5, and then overlay for something like Freezodon, which can substitute 1 material instead of Lagia's 2 materials. Now on to the EvolTiles. I run 3 Westlows. Westlow is overall a good card. 1900 defense, so if someone attacks with just their first turn monster, which is probably going to be somewhere like 1800 attack, they might lose some life points or not destroy it. And when it's flip summoned, you get an EvolSaur from your deck, so it's overall a good card. Then run 2 Najashas. 2000 defense, so very strong if you put it in face down. When it's tributed, you get an EvolSaur, which means that if you use a card like Evo Force, you get 2 EvolSaurs with their effects. It's an overall good card. Then I run 2 Pluros. These things are good just as a decoy. You throw one face down on the field and it's destroyed, and you get an EvolSaur from your hand. It's as simple as that. Next, 1 Odonto. Odonto is good if you want to do some quick overlaying, because he special summons an EvolSaur from your hand when it's normal summon. It's not the best in long term. Then we've got 1 Gafyro. Basically, if he's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, then you get to special summon an EvolSaur from your graveyard. It's good if you're running against someone who just puts your stuff in your graveyard and just attacks and attacks and attacks. Then we run a Lagasucha. This strategy is a little different, because say you have an Evo Force in your hand, you summon him and send an EvolSaur to your graveyard, then you tribute him to summon a Volcano and get that EvolSaur back. But he also has his flip effect, where when he's flip summoned, you get to special summon an EvolTile from your deck. So it could be used just to get a different EvolTile because you didn't get the one you wanted. Next up, we've got 1 El Genero. Doesn't really do much for summoning, but if he's tributed, then you get to draw 1 card. Then you can shuffle a dinosaur-type monster from your deck, a hand into the deck, and add an EvolTile from your deck to your hand. It's good in some strategies, but not for getting quick. Then we've got 1 EvolTile Casenario. 1600 attacks are not the worst opening move for EvolTiles. He's about the strongest EvolTile in terms of offense. When he destroys, at the end of the battle phase, if he destroyed a monster by battle, you can tribute this card and special summon 2 level 6 or lower fire dinosaur types with the same name from your deck. Their effects are negated and they're banished in the end phase, so you've got to overlay with them quick or you lose them pretty fast. Then on to the spells and traps. 3 Evo Forces. Evo Force is basically the staple of an EvolTile. You summon an EvolTile and maybe get its effect, and then you tribute it to get an EvolSaur. And it's treated as being summoned by an EvolTile. It's just an all-around good spell card for an EvolTile, EvolSaur Day. Then, I run 2 Evo Diversities. This card is basically good because you draw it, and you get to add an EvolTile or EvolSaur from your deck to your hand. You can only activate 1 per turn, but it's good for getting something out that you need, just to complete your opening turn strategy if it's on your opening turn, or just to make sure you get something in your hand that you can use if it's late in the door. Then I run 2 Evo Prices, also a good card. Basically, once per turn, if something's summoned by an EvolTile, you can target 1 card on the field and destroy it. It's an overall good card just for if you want to keep it around on the field and you're summoning stuff. Then, on to the basics. I run a Dark Hole, because who doesn't run a Dark Hole? It's a good card. It just clears the field.
Yeah, that Dark Hole, though.
Then what I run is a Soul Charge. This is interesting because you can do your whole strategy with your EvolSaurs in overlay form, and then use the materials for your XYZs. And then you can just use Soul Charge to bring them back and overlay them again into different things, to use different strategies. Although it does cost 1,000 life points per monster, you can use it effectively if you have enough life points. It does limit your battle phase, but if you have the right strategy, you won't need the battle phase. Next up, Mystical Space Typhoon. Run any number of these you want, but I only have 1 because I focus more on the specific cards. But it is a good card. It destroys a spell or trap card. It's a staple.
I am legitimately running out of space on my phone, so...
Then I run a Gold Sark. Basically, it adds a card from your deck to your hand. It's not very quick, you gotta wait a couple turns, but you're gonna get the card. It's not like they're gonna stop it.
I stopped. Every time I played it, I stopped.
Then I run the newest card, 2 Evo Singularities. It's a good trap card. Very good trap card. All you gotta do is make sure an EvolTile and EvolSaur get in your graveyard, and you get a free EvolSaur. I run an Evolutionary Bridge. Basically, if a monster you control is targeted for an attack, you pop this out, and you get an EvolTile from your graveyard and special summon it and switch the attack target to that, then conduct damage calculation. It's good if you have an EvolSaur in your hand and you pull out a Pluro with this card, because then you get an EvolSaur from your hand. The next one we've got is Offering to the Snake Deity. Basically, if you've already used a card like Odonto, you can target it with this and destroy it and get rid of 2 cards on your opponent's side of the field, whether it be monsters or the back row. Next, I run an Evo Instant. Not as good as Evo Force, considering that you have to wait a turn to use it, and it doesn't get the effects of being summoned by an EvolTile. It's basically just a quick way to get out some overlaying material. Then I run a Scrap Iron Scarecrow. Pretty good. It basically stops 1 attack per turn, and you can reuse it, so it's just an overall good card. Also run a D-Present, because it's a pretty good card.
Stardust.
It can stop a Stardust, because Stardust only stops destroying. This just goes and banishes it altogether. It doesn't even stop the destroying. Then I run Magic Cylinder. It's a trolley card. Someone gets a Power Bonded Cyber End Dragon, and you just hit this. GG.
Power Bonded Megamorph Cyber End Dragon.
Power Bonded Megamorph Limiter Removal Cyber End Dragon. And last, in the main deck, I run 2 Mirror Forces, because it's a good card. It just takes out all your opponent's monsters because they made the mistake of attacking you. Now we go to the extra deck. I run 1 EvolSaur Dolka. Not very good. 2300 attack and stops a monster effect and destroys it, so it's good if your opponent relies on monster effects. Then what I run is 2 Lagias. Lagia is about the best EvolSaur except for Soda. Basically because 2400 attack, not too bad. He can stop spells, traps, and normal or special summons. If you can get Freezadon out, which will substitute materials, and you get Dolka out, you can stop effects and basically everything on the field.
This deck also makes like hour-long duels. So
Yes, it does sometimes, if you get matched up with someone good. Next, we've got EvolSaur Solda. 2600 attack, and he's a rank 6, so you're going to have to use your Eliases and Teriuses. But he can't be destroyed by card effects while he has material, and he stops special summons with 1 material, so it's pretty good. Then we've got our rank 1s, just in case you get a couple Pluros stuck on the field and don't know what to do with
put all the rank ones out. Like,
One is number 56, Gold Rat. 3 level 1 monsters, so it might not be the best, but I just kind of had this laying around when I went to regional, so I threw it in there. Basically, you detach one, draw one card, and shuffle one into your deck, so it's not the best. Then we got Utopia Roots. It's good if your opponent relies on XYZs and high rank XYZs, because he gains 500 attack for every rank if he stops an XYZ. So, and he's also basically a mini Utopia, so that's an advantage. Then we've got 3 rank 3s. We've got Mech with Engineer, flips one card into face down defense that you control, but it can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. So it's during either player's turn, so if you think your monster's about to get destroyed, just flip it into face down defense. Then we've got number 20, Giga Brilliant. Basically, detach one material,
That's a brilliant name you got there.
and every monster you control at the moment of activation gets 300 attack permanently, unless it gets sent to the graveyard. Lastly, we've got Battlecruiser Dianthus. 3 level 3s, so you're probably not going to be using it, especially since EvolSaurs really rely on 4s and 6s. Basically, you detach one from the card, and inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each card in their hand. So, it's a once per turn effect, but it can come in handy if you like just inflicting some damage. Then we've got number 39, Utopia. Pretty self-explanatory. Stops attacks. Here's a couple that might be surprising. Number 82, Heartland Draco. Number 85, Crazy Box, and Night Path the Operative. Now, Heartland Draco, 2,000 attack, so it's not very good. But if you have a
Someone's
card...
gonna start playing music, so you might want to hurry up.
If you have a card like Evo Price out, he can't be destroyed, or he can't be targeted for attacks. Basically, detach one, and he can attack your opponent directly, but your other monsters can't attack. Pretty good.
This one is just, it has a lot of effects, so just
Crazy
say
Box is basically 3,000 attack, so you can, in 2 level 4s. So
it can't attack though.
It can't attack, but you can pull it out and just keep your opponent on lockdown because they can't get past it to your life points. Basically, you roll a dice, and you've got effect 1 through 6. Depending on the dice roll, that's the effect you get. There are a couple bad effects, but there are a few good effects too. Then at Night Path the Operative. 3 level 4 monsters, 2,600 attack. Detach a material and it gains 300 attack for every material attached to a monster on the field, and that's a permanent change. So if they use something like Thunder End Dragon or Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, that's 8 ranks, so that's 300 times 8. That's 2,400.
Thunder End Dragon will destroy that card.
Yeah, but it would get enough attack to destroy Thunder End Dragon, so...
No, the effect of Thunder End Dragon. Destroy all other monsters on the field.
But if you got that out after Thunder End Dragon.
Yeah.
Then we've got the card I've been talking about. Number 19, Freezodon. Basically, you pop it out in defense for the 2,500 defense, unless you've cleared their field and you want 2,000 more life points taken out. Basically, detach one to substitute it for any number of materials detaching from another monster. It's good for substituting Lagia's 2 materials, because Lagia instantly uses its only chances. And last, another rank 6, Photon Strike Bouncer. 2,700 attack, it's going to be 100 stronger than Solda, and it stops monster effects and inflicts 1,000 damage. It's all around a good card. And then, sided, I don't really have much specific siding.
You don't have to say what they do, just show them, because I don't think you really use a lot of the sides.
You got Barrel Behind the Door, Compulsory Evacuation Device, Dimension Slice, Draining Shield, another Evo Diversity and Evo Instant, a Lightning Vortex, which is all around a good card because it destroys all face-up monsters your opponent controls, another Magic Cylinder, Primordial Soup, it's pretty good in EvolSaur decks because it's designed for EvolSaur decks. Prohibition, stops one card with that name that can't be used.
Oh wow.
And then we got Sakuretsu, just destroys a monster. It's basically a 1-monster Mirror Force.
They need to make a card named
Seismic
Alcohol.
Shockwave, it blocks 3 of your opponent's spell and trap card zones when a dinosaur-type monster on your side is destroyed. So it lasts for 3 standby phases, so it's pretty good. Then we got Shadow Spell. Stops a monster from changing its battle position, it can't attack, and decreases its attack by 700 points. Then a Trap Stun, just because why not, stops all other trap effects for the turn. And then Wave Motion Cannon. Basically every turn you wait, it gains a counter and 1,000 points of damage if you attribute it for every counter.